Hello everyone and welcome back to My First Mon. I'm one of your hosts, Jack Martin, alongside the Pokemon Master, Christian Buckley.
Hello Jack, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, still reeling from this PlayStation conference and news we had yesterday. We were a little bit more negative than the rest of the internet appears to be, but I'm doing okay. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Let me tell you, this is Pokemon and by adjacent it's Nintendo. There was also a Nintendo presentation this morning. Let me tell you, not counting that Mario one, it might have been the best Nintendo presentation in a long time because got a new Monster Hunter, got Hades. I was looking forward to Hades. Played it out a little bit earlier today. Feeling good. Now we get to talk about Pokemon, so it's a good day.
It is a good day. Hopefully this will soothe my ruffled feathers, as it were.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, I'm not very familiar with Pokemon. In fact, I only played my first Pokemon game, Pokemon Blue, last year. But Christian, as I always say, is the Pokemon Master. So he's guiding me through Pokemon Crystal, and each episode will focus on the lead up to and through a particular gym. The show releases every Monday. You can find it on podcast services like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You could also find the video version on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, we would appreciate a nice little subscribe to the JoyClicks YouTube channel. We're getting very close to 2,000 subs, so your subscription would be cool.
Absolutely.
For this show, we want some community involvement, and that is in the form of fan art, which you can send to myfirstmon@gmail.com. At the end of every episode, we give a little suggestion on what you should draw. It doesn't have to necessarily be that, but that's a little framework that we use. Christian and I have been doing that. It's been a fun time.
Absolutely.
Finally, we have a Patreon over on patreon.com/joyclicks. At the $1 level, you get early access to episodes, so those will release on Saturdays instead of Mondays. At the $2 level, you can get access to Name My Pokemon in My Party. And finally, at the $5 level, you get producer credit. Shout out to Chris Sakas, who subscribes at that level. So yeah, Christian, before we get into it, do we have any trainer tips this week?
We do. As always, trainer tips are welcome. If you have trainer tips, corrections, clarifications, tips, you can leave them in the comment section on the YouTube video every week. We'll shout you out, read your tips live, like Angarl does once again every week. We got an update on where we left off with Jack's party before we see what's up this week. So as of last week, we have Quilava as a fire type, Wooper, ground and water, Graveler, ground and rock, Victory Bell, grass and poison, Machoke, fighting, and Gyarados, water flying. Angarl also gave us a few little insights into some of the unsure aspects of evolution and a couple other things that you asked me about last week. Evolving does give a significant stat boost for most Pokemon lines. So with Wooper, your power potential, I don't know how that's gauged, is a 210. But if you evolve it into a Quagsire, your power potential would go up to 430. Angarl also mentions that in terms of my Grookey's power potential was 310, which is fine to get through a Pokemon game. But at the end game, it's a little tougher, and evolving him would have given him a 530 power potential. So there is a benefit.
Yeah. Appreciate that, Angarl, as always, and we will run into an evolution issue here in this episode.
Oh boy.
Little tease.
Yeah, also, Gyarados cannot learn flying moves, even though it can't learn flight, even though it is a water flying type. Golbat apparently never sticks its tongue out, so I think I was thinking of something else. Maybe I was just thinking of the anime. I don't know.
Lickitung.
Maybe it was Lickitung, dude.
I hate that Pokemon. That's like top 3 most hated Pokemon for me.
Really?
Yeah. Ugh. It reminds me of, remember Venom in the Neversoft Spider-Man game?
Oh yeah.
How like if he would catch you, he would lick you.
Yeah, that was sick.
I didn't like that.
If we're doing least favorite Pokemon, I think Mr. Mime, Jinx, Golduck. Golduck is my least favorite. You know that.
Yeah.
I just don't want the humanoid looking.
I agree. That's why I originally didn't like Muscle in Gen 1, who was Machop, right? He looked like, to me, I was like, oh, he kind of looked like humanoid, but yeah. I agree. on muscle.
Juggernaut 577 told you, I saw you reply to this one, but if you went to Mr. Pokemon, you can trade the red scale you got from when you caught your shiny Gyarados for an EXP share, which would allow you to level up your team at a more stable rate like you've been wanting to.
Yeah, and appreciate you, Juggernaut. I do actually do that in this episode. Per
Very
your
nice.
comment. So thank you.
And then in terms of IVs from Android Man, IVs are predetermined values that determine how much stats the Pokemon will gain as it levels up. Each stat has its own IV. So you can't change the IVs, but you can get them better through breeding. So that's why the breeding thing is a big deal. People want their perfect Pokemon by Darwinism, forcing it on their captures. EVs are the stats you gain from beating Pokemon, and those reset every level you level up. So if you fought like a fighting type in your run from 30 to 31, then when you evolve to 30, or when you level up to 31, you would get a boosted attack stat based on the Pokemon you fought. Like that's what it is.
I see.
If that makes sense.
Too much for me, I say.
Yeah. Kind of useless for a casual playthrough. I never even realized. I heard people talk about them before, but I never like understood them until like 4 years ago, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
pretty useless. And capping it all off with some lore, Angarl returns. Gen 6 talks about a Pokemon War. It might not be the Pokemon War, but a Pokemon War is referenced once again in Generation 6.
Whoa. Okay, so potentially multiple Pokemon Wars.
Potentially.
Interesting. From Lieutenant Surge's demeanor and the clothes that he wears, it strikes me that the Great Pokemon War was akin to the Vietnam War.
Sure.
Or like, you know, he had that sort of like camouflage that was used in that type of war. So, yeah. Would love to see that explored. I don't think we ever will.
Yeah,
but
I feel like Jordan Voight Roberts said that he wanted to do a Pokemon movie once because he's doing the Metal Gear movie. He did Kong Skull Island. Like, let him do that one. Let him tell that story.
Sure, make a Pokemon movie for adults.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
yeah,
I mean, like, I feel like the 1990s audience is obviously now adults now, so.
yeah. So,
But Pokemon will always be for kids.
that does it for trainer tips this week, though. So thank you all once again. Always appreciated.
Yeah, thanks everyone. So now, let's get into it. Let me hit you with that current party, Christian.
Go for it.
We got Quilava at level 32.
Nice.
Graveler is a level 31. Victory Bell is a level 29. Wooper is a level 26, quite underleveled compared to the rest, I would say, by at least like 5 or so. Muscle's level 30, and Gyarados is a level 30, but to save you some hassle, I immediately deposit Gyarados for Spearow. So
Sorry.
Gyarados really isn't even my party right now.
So is that more of a trophy catch than anything else?
Kind
You
of,
think?
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I don't blame you. You have a good water type already, so.
Yeah, I think eventually I'll use Gyarados a little bit, but it's not enough for him to actually be a mainstay in my party, I'll say. Immediately get a call from Gina, who I got her number last episode. And she's telling me that Team Rocket took over the Goldenrod radio tower. So I'm like, man, I gotta go back and fight them. But per Juggernaut 577, I gotta go see a Mr. Pokemon about an XP share.
Yeah.
So I did that. And I gave it to Wooper.
Okay.
So I took away Wooper's Everstone, but I'm preventing it from evolving by pressing B.
Gotcha.
At this point.
Okay.
Now, I had a question. And I feel like I already know the answer, but I think it's, useful to ask anyways.
Yes. Please.
Does EXP share half the total of EXP for both Pokemon? Or do they share like the total amount? So like, for example, if I defeated a Pokemon with no EXP share and I got 250, right? Would both Pokemon get that 250 or would it be divided evenly?
So I think what happens is I have to check because I don't really use the EXP share on replays. I think what happens is the Pokemon you are fighting with gets what would be the full XP for that, but your Pokemon holding the EXP share gets like half of it.
Okay.
Right? So it's like replicating it in a way. Like it's creating more than what's given, if that makes sense. Like, so if you get 200 XP from fighting something as your Quilava, your Wooper would get 100. I think that's how it works.
Okay, that seems fair.
Yeah.
Because, like, Wooper ain't doing anything, so he's just getting XP for nothing, essentially. So, yeah. Yeah. But at this point, I flew to Goldenrod, because I knew I needed to do something there. And right now, I basically got the Spirit of Lance with me. I'm like, Lance, I went through last episode in Mahogany Town, and I busted this Team Rocket drug ring. Looks like I gotta do it again, but this time I'm all on my own. But I go in, go for it.
Just say do him proud.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I got my vampire cape on. I'm very excited. I right here that EXP share is great, because I think it is.
Yeah.
For what I'm using it for, because Wooper is like pretty under leveled, so I kind of needed him to catch up.
That's for sure the benefit of it. In later games, people actually it's more recently, honestly. Like they changed it so now the EXP share does not have to be held by your party, and everybody gets EXP.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it makes the game easier, but it makes also maintaining level parity a lot easier as well. I know they've experimented with other ways to dish out experience in recent games. Like, I think they do this in Sword and Shield, but they definitely did it in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Catching Pokemon, everybody gets XP if you catch a Pokemon.
That's cool.
So,
nice.
lot more variety, lot more options in terms of leveling your team in a smooth way where everybody's kind of going up that slope now.
Yeah, so I get to the radio tower, and Buena's there. So I'm fighting Team Rocket, of course. But Buena, who's one of the DJs there, she's like, oh, today's password? Help, of course. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And then some Team Rocket member says, it feels great forcing Pokemon to commit crimes. Damn. Is that not the most evil thing I've heard in this game?
Don't kink shame.
I guess.
Yeah. No, you're right, though. You're right.
We have an edition of Who's That Pokemon, Christian?
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to send you this photo. I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
Like, for what it is, of course, as we all know, I'm not the artist here. And I'm not tracing. These are freehand drawings.
Yeah, you don't have the time to look up a Pokemon in the middle of battle, you know?
No.
You can do a quick sketch.
Exactly. John Marston. So I'm sending this photo over to Christian. He's going to guess who this Pokemon is.
Of course, that is Porygon.
You are correct.
Now, is it Porygon? No, it's Porygon. Because the thing is Porygon, there's modified versions of Porygon that show up in different games. But this is, from the looks of it, Porygon.
That is Porygon. You are correct. But at this point, I'm essentially tasked with saving the director. But when I get to the director's headquarters, or his office, I suppose, it's an imposter director. So I'm like, great. But I defeat him, and then he tells me, by the way, everyone after you defeat them, the most helpful people. Like, oh, you defeated me. Here's the key to the underground layer, and that's where the real director is. I'm like, great, thanks. You totally are selling your team down the river.
Right, well, I feel like you'd assume that in a society that celebrates and prioritizes the spirit of battle, you know, and competitiveness, that it's probably ingrained in them from youth, even if they're thrown out to this world at a ripe 11 years old, 10 years old, it's sort of built into them that, like, oh, I should respect the people that are better than me. Obviously, we get outliers like Johnny or Ash, you know, but even Ash kind of came around, right? He's like, hey, you're better. You know,
Ash eventually got there, and he was more of a bratty kid than Johnny is, like an evil man, you know.
Yeah. Evil man in a 10-year-old's body.
Yeah, honestly, I can't tell the age of Johnny. Now that you say it, like, I assume he's probably a younger age, but he strikes me as somewhat older.
Yeah, maybe it's just the attitude, you know? Because, like, I feel like as kids, like, as a 10-year-old, do you remember ever meeting an evil 10-year-old, or was it always, like, the older kids that seemed evil?
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know, so maybe if you're getting in the RP of your character who is 10, and then you're seeing this evil person, it's like, oh, he's probably 14. You know?
That's what it strikes me as.
Yeah.
But at this point, I am essentially just using Graveler because Team Rocket uses, like, ghost types and stuff. And that seems, or whatever the Psychic or whatever Ground has the advantage to, whatever they're using like Coughings and stuff, right?
Yeah. Trash.
But I'm using, or I have Wooper here, right? And he's not super useful at this point. And I feel like it's probably because he is not evolved.
Okay.
So I'm writing here, I might evolve Wooper.
Okay.
I don't want to do it. I'm not going to like doing it. But I think it must be done.
Now, while you're thinking this, while you're writing this, is that episode of the Pokemon anime running through your head?
Kind of.
Where Pikachu refuses to evolve.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. The anime doesn't have stats based around the usefulness of its Pokemon.
Yeah.
It has writers. I don't have writers in my corner.
Right.
So all I got are these numbers, and let me tell you, Wooper's number's pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
So Quagsire, yeah. I'm thinking about Quagsire. I'm like, he's kind of cute. All right, he's no Wooper. Let's agree on that. But
he's okay.
He's fine.
Yeah, it's pretty strange because, like, Pokemon, in my opinion, we've talked about this before. Like, I feel like a Pokemon game is more rewarding when it's your team of misfits that you can train to become legends.
Yeah, 100%.
But the game at times, especially the early ones, like, actively push you to not do that, which is so strange, especially because the story is all about, like, loving your Pokemon and stuff like that. And I feel like the idea, like, I don't think it's inherent that loving your Pokemon means making them the final form, most powerful thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I wish, like, evolution was more aesthetic than anything, you know?
Yeah, like, stat buffs are nice. Maybe you can only learn moves that way. I feel like that would change some of the balance of things, but yeah, I wish it was a little more viable. Like, you can do it better now with items and the EVs, IVs, manipulating those things to make them strong. But yeah, early on, first couple gens, despite what the story says, despite what the anime was preaching, despite what I think as a lifelong Pokemon fan, viable teams normally have final forms of Pokemon on them.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because, man, I love me my Wooper.
Yeah. And hey, maybe you find out that your team only needs 5 tanks, and then you can have your goofy little Wooper still.
Yeah, true.
So.
Well, I make my way to the underground area. Now, this is the part in Goldenrod where I was like, hey, I need a key to access this area. So this is actually what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately Johnny shows up. Being Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Throws out his team, consisting of Golbat, who kind of, like, I use Graveler, and then at some point I use Quilava, and then I use Victory Bell, who faints. And I have to, like, heal Graveler because for whatever reason, like, Golbat is going to town on my party.
Mm-hmm.
I used Dig, didn't hit. I realized my ground attacks don't affect Golbat. I think Rock has the advantage against flying.
Yeah, because I think Golbat counts as flying, and I don't think specific ground attacks can hit flying. I don't think.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way. So I think I probably use Rock Throw or something to get rid of Golbat.
Nice.
And then for Alligator comes to party. Of course, that's what you're rolling with right now, right?
Yes, absolutely. My Crusha is a nice level 39 for Alligator right now.
Getting up there.
Yeah, man. What do you think of for Alligator?
Scary. For alligator's scary.
Yeah, he is.
But I use muscle as a vessel to heal and revive my victory bell.
Okay.
Of course, sometimes you have to send out a sacrificial lamb so the lions can feed. You know what I'm saying, Christian?
Mm-hmm. And what better one to do than muscle a wall of meat that is just strong?
He can take a hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually I get victory bell out, use his sleep powder, and I write in quotes, my Vine Whip is super effective for alligator. It's really not. It doesn't do that much damage. Yeah. Apparently Johnny's for alligator's a tank.
Yeah, sometimes it's weird because like you would expect if something gets the phrase "it's super effective," it'll take out a good chunk of the health bar. But like, depending on the level differential, it can mean like technically it's still a super effective attack and it hit in a strong way, but like your victory bell is too weak compared to my level 40 whatever for alligator. You know, like
yeah.
It's weird. I understand why that would be confusing, and they probably shouldn't phrase it that way if it's not going to do a significant amount of damage. But I think it's just a matter of like pure statistics and numbers at that point in terms of like what's strong against what, and then what text you get based on that attack. So yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah, I think it's the game basically telling you, hey, these attacks are useful. You should continue using them.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially like if there's a level differential, then it doesn't really even matter.
Yeah.
But regardless, Magnemite comes out. My Graveler uses Dig and gets a one-hit feint. Like, come on,
nice.
He's a tank. Then Haunter shows up. I try to use Quilava against ghost types, and like it generally works pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used Flame Wheel, and then Haunter used Curse, and then it was done.
Nice.
Curse, I'll say, is one of the worst moves in this game.
Yeah. It's like you can build around Curse in competitive and stuff like that to make things like that make sense. Like self-destruct. Somebody can make a build of a Pokemon where self-destruct for some reason would make sense. But like in the story, never. It's never good. It's never good.
No. I agree. But I got another edition of Who's That Pokemon for you, Christian.
Okay.
Just sent it over to you. Who do we got?
Ooh, that is a... what's the... It's Snivel? No, it's not Snivel. Sneasel.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Well done. Now, I applaud you for always getting these correct.
Hey, you know... One, I think you're selling yourself short because they're all right drawings.
I was about to say, more importantly, gonna give myself a pat on the back here for actually having you be able to guess these.
Yeah, but the other thing is that a lot of the art direction and interviews with designers of Pokemon since the beginning, they said that they want every single Pokemon to be recognizable from, and this is not to downplay you, I think it was like from the drawings of children or from like a silhouette perspective. Like well, that's a real quote. Mm-hmm. That's a real thing. So I think they've done a very good job if you're hitting all the major points, right? Because like,
yeah,
I think things get a little complicated in the later generations when there is like the Vanillish of the world, you know, the ice cream cone. But even then, it's like it's the ice cream cone. Yeah, it's the ice cream Pokemon. Like we all know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always thought that was a really interesting thing to capture as like an artist. You know, like I feel like that's hard to design around. You know, maybe you just start with the silhouette and then focus test that silhouette, then fill it out in between. I don't know, but I always thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, and like considering how many there are, like even in the first gen, there's what 150, 151, including Mew and Mewtwo. Like they're all fairly recognizable, and like I remember I tried to list off like a few that I knew even before playing Pokemon that gen, and I still knew like some because even if you don't know Pokemon, you probably know like 3 to 5 Pokemon, and yeah, they're especially like the earlier ones, they're super recognizable. So that's cool. I think they do a really great job on the design. Yeah,
and I remember that quote. I think that quote's pretty old, but it was brought up again with Sword and Shield, where I think the director or the art director was talking about how Grookey, Sobble, and Scorbunny, if you just took their heads and made silhouettes of them, like people familiar with the marketing for that game or anything about Pokemon or keeping slight tabs on it would be able to recognize them. So
Yeah, definitely.
it's
So that's cool. Yeah, but Sneasel comes out. I didn't realize Johnny had a Sneasel at this point.
Yeah, so that's new. That's new to the team.
So
What do you
he's
think of
picking
Sneasel?
stuff up. I don't even really know what this Pokemon is. Is it a normal type?
It is, if my memory serves, it's an ice type.
Oh, now this would explain some things because I'm using Quilava,
Uh-huh.
and to great effect, pretty much. But I faint with Curse, and then Wooper comes in and saves the day. But yeah, it's cool, I guess.
Yeah, it is a dark ice type. So,
Ooh, interesting. That's an interesting combination.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Mhm.
But at this point, Wooper wins. I learn Earthquake, and I ditch Amnesia.
Okay.
I wasn't using it.
Okay. For a second, I thought you were going to say you passed on Earthquake.
No. I learned it. Is it a good
Good.
move? I don't think I've used it.
Earthquake is very, very strong.
Cool.
So maybe Wooper, maybe it's a glass cannon now. Like, maybe it just goes down easy, but man, if it hits Earthquake, it's over.
Okay, that's good to know. I honestly don't even think I've used it.
Yeah, mess around with that next week.
Yeah, here's the thing, Christian. At this point, Wooper is unsustainable. Is an unsustainable member of my party.
Mm-hmm.
As much as that pains me to say it. I'll do a little diatribe on Wooper here. Probably the cutest Pokemon I've encountered in Pokemon so far. I would get a plush for Wooper.
Oh, is
I
that
would
the
go
one
to
you
the
decided
end of
on?
Like, eventually, I will start amassing, like, probably, like, 5 to 10 plushes. It's probably all I need.
Yes,
that.
that's what I love to hear, dude.
Yeah. Wooper's amongst those, right? But right now, I don't need Wooper anymore. I need the big guy, as they say to Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
So Quagsire comes along.
Oh man, all right.
I don't want to spoil Avatar: The Last Airbender for you, but a certain character joins a party and no one's excited about it.
Okay.
So that's what I feel about Quagsire. Just like, welcome, you're here. We'll probably use you a little bit, but no one's excited about you.
Yeah,
We
much like
miss
the
the other
Hulk.
guy. Yeah. Yep. So Quagsire is the Hulk. I should name Quagsire the Hulk, but I won't. So yeah, he's here. Johnny, at the end of this, is very introspective about his choices. Very uncharacteristically so. He's not angry. He's not like Bakugo, like, whatever, nerd. He is just super, like, oh man, maybe I've been doing the wrong thing this whole time. It's wild.
Well, yeah. What do you think of that? Like, do you think you have a final confrontation at one point? Do you think he changes his ways? Like, where do you think this is going?
I mean, I'll definitely see him after the Elite Four, I imagine.
Okay.
Like, that bullshit they mess around with Blue, where I was like, oh, dude, I'm done with the Elite Four. I'm finally done. Like, my team is exhausted. And then Ash is like, hey, you want to battle? I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I don't. Need to heal. I imagine that'll probably happen again. So I got to prepare for that at least.
Okay.
I think I'll probably see him once before that. Maybe.
Okay.
We'll
Are
see.
you expecting any follow up on this introspection, or are you expecting like vindictive Johnny once again? What do you think?
I think he will be like, I'm sorry about the way I acted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually Ash, or I'm actually Jack from Pokemon Blue.
Okay.
And I'm going to be like, whoa, you've changed.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll find out. Yeah. I get this amulet coin. What's the
Okay.
deal with this?
So if you give the amulet coin to a Pokemon and they fight in a battle and you win the battle, you will get more money than you would have otherwise.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of useless. I never really
I
use it.
I don't think I use it. I already have so many Pokebucks, dude. It's not even an issue.
Yeah, you're
But I
swimming.
saved the director. It's a great day. And I head back to the radio tower. And at this point, very exciting. Quilava is no more. welcome everyone to the world of Typhlosion.
Dude, first off, what a name, right?
What a name, dude. Typhlosion.
Typhlosion. Oh.
All about it. All
Yeah,
about
dude.
that name.
Yeah, so let me hear what you thought design-wise. Let me hear what your first impression was. Let's hear it.
Now, Typhlosion seems to me just a bigger version of Quilava. I'm going to look up photos to do a comparison right now,
Okay.
but kind of just seems like a bigger Quilava.
Yeah, so I think the main difference is that Typhlosion stands on 2 feet rather than on all fours. Yeah, it's got like a flame collar as opposed to the Quilava mohawk and tail. So it's got like style to it, you know.
Yeah.
It's got a good swagger to it, I would say. Like,
Ooh, yeah.
looks cool.
I would agree. Yeah, so yeah, Typhlosion is just a lot bigger. I'm looking at the evolution here.
Yeah.
Cyndaquil, still super cute.
Now, if you're curious, since I do not think you're gonna come across the evolution for Chikurita, would you like to look up this as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I believe the name is Meganium, I think.
God damn it.
Because did you ever find a Bayleaf? Because that was the second form.
Wait, I can
Okay.
find a Bailey.
Sorry, I mean like a trainer that has this Pokemon, like
I
coming
see.
across that.
Whoa, dude. Oh my god. Thing
Yeah.
looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah, I know.
That's actually cool.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll
I mean,
say
like,
it.
I think Chikurita goes places, clearly, right? But
Oh yeah.
just a strange thing. You know? Like, Chikurita, Bayleaf, Meganium. Like, the second
Yeah.
form is just a bad name. A Bayleaf, I have one of those in my pantry.
Right. Not very exciting.
Yeah. But in terms of, yeah, just being another grass dinosaur, kind of like Bulbasaur, but Bulbasaur was like a dinosaur frog, like, it's cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I like the final evolution of Chikurita. It reminds me of, do you remember, this might be a poll, do you remember Disney's dinosaurs?
I do.
Reminds me
Aladar.
of that. Wow, dude, you just broke my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, reminds me of that.
Sure.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know you've brought up your Pokemon masks that you for some reason had as a child. I had an Aladar hand puppet from I think like McDonald's or something.
Me too.
Wait,
I think
really?
I still have that, dude.
Oh my god. Yeah,
I
that's,
may have to fish those out of my
please,
basement.
please do. Yeah, that is burnt in my memory forever. That is a pull. But
Great.
yeah,
I'm glad we both share that memory.
yeah.
But I actually do use Gyarados a little bit. Thrash I think is really good. It reminds me of Rollout. I think it like keeps going until you're interrupted essentially.
Yep.
So that's cool. A member of Team Rocket's talking about Giovanni doing solo training.
Okay.
So seems like he didn't learn his lesson
Maybe.
from that. You know, we'll see.
Now, do you think you could take this in an interpretation of he is now just being a trainer you would hire at a real life gym?
Possibly, but the fact that Team Rocket still exists and the fact that they want to recruit him again gives me cause for concern.
Sure. But as of right now, at least, he's not being a bad guy right now. You know, because if they want to recruit him, that's more the underlings being like, "Hey, we want you back." It's no. We don't need to get the cuffs out yet. You know, like.
Yeah, he's on parole. We don't know that he's, up to something, but we got a close eye on him. I'm always suspicious of Giovanni,
As you should.
Anyways, we got another edition of Who's That Pokemon. Who do we got, Christian?
That, my friend, is Houndour.
Yeah.
Houndour is the dark fire type I said that I was going to have on my team.
Dude, that one is really cool. Dark and Fire, I think, that's some serious Zuko energy from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So appreciate that.
Yeah, it's
it's a cool design.
Yeah, like it's a dark fire dog. That's such a cool thing. Like,
absolutely.
I honestly used to like Umbreon. Then I was like Umbreon. Like a couple years ago, I was like Umbreon's a little bit too edgy.
Yeah, that's the dark evolution of Eevee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Espeon and Glaceon are the best evolutions by far, but Houndour is the superior dark dog. I think so, honestly. It does not get enough credit.
What about Houndoom? Do you ever use Houndoom or evolve to Houndoom?
Houndoom is incoming. I'm going to get a Houndoom eventually, whenever I evolve. I think it's a level 50 evolution. So Houndour is sticking around.
Big. That's a lot.
Houndour is going to be on the team for a while.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I did like that design, and the fact that you said it was dark and fire goes together like peanut butter and jelly, I say.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, I defeat all the Team Rocket members here, and someone's like, all right, Team Rocket's disbanded. I'm like, whoa. Man, Vigilantism really works in this game, doesn't it?
It does. It's a
Appreciate
great effect.
That. Seriously. You walk into Giovanni, he's like, I'm going to kill you. And then you defeat him, he's like, I guess I'm done. Well done.
Yeah.
I got to respect your choices. And it's like, dude, you're a criminal. Whatever.
How does it feel like going through 2 Pokemon games and seeing like one officer of the law with all this crime going on?
Feels good to me, to be completely honest. Seems like the citizens really like have their community policing, enforced quite well.
Yeah, because like in the anime, there was Officer Jenny. She was the one holding it down, right? But she's nowhere to be found in these games.
No, yeah.
So
Nurse Joy's in here though. Apparently, you told me that. I didn't realize that was actually Nurse Joy.
Yeah. It's. I feel like it's just never outright said, but like we all know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay. Yeah, I just fact checked something. We might have a conversation about something next week.
Okay.
So, please continue though.
Okay. Stand by real quick. I gotta plug my MacBook in. Carry the show for approximately 5 seconds.
Now, for a slight tease, just to get everybody ready for the future, Jack and I have been having a great time with this show. And much like Crystal eventually followed up Pokemon Red and Blue, Gen 3, not out of the question. So look forward to that whenever that eventually happens. But as always, I love, and so does Jack, talking to all y'all in the comments, in the live premieres of the show. Love the lore, love the conversations, the hypotheticals, and seeing people playing along. It's a lot of fun. I think at the end of this, I'm curious to see what I really think about Pokemon Crystal and Gen 2 as a whole, because for every week for me, it doesn't feel like it's homework, but it feels like it's still not my favorite Pokemon game. But it's an interesting generation with interesting level design, good types, some great designs. They're just, it sucks that I have to wait like 7 weeks to get the fire type I want. Like that is just rough. But other than that, I've been having a great time.
Me too. Dynamite job.
Thank you.
I could not find the issue of why my MacBook was not charging. I plugged it into several different outlets, and then finally figured it out. I don't know why, but we're back.
Very good.
Well done. Now, at this point, Team Rocket's disbanded. I got a clear bell, and someone was saying like to use that for Tin Tower, so I'm like, cool. Gonna go there. I swapped Gyarados out for Spearow, and I fly to Tin Tower in Necrotique, and Suicune is here.
Yes.
And go up the Tin Tower, the Wise Trio's there, and like, hey, we appreciate the sanctity of Suicune, and we'll let you go, but you must defeat us. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I can do this. And essentially they just use variations of Hoothoot. So Noctowl.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Noctowl, Flareon is the first one. Get through, no problem. Sage Massa, I believe, is the next one. I'm not even going to say the names. It's Noctowl and Jolteon is the next one.
Okay.
And then Noctowl and Vaporeon. So basically, Noctowl and an evolution of Eevee they're all using.
Mm-hmm.
And I get through them, no issue.
Now, Jacko, do you think there's any reason behind the composition of teams here? Like the fact that we have 3 evolutions. It's none of the new evolutions. It's the classic ones. Do you think there's anything going on with these?
I think now that you say that, it might refer to the different types, flying plus X type for each of the legendaries. Am I onto something there?
Interesting. You're taking steps towards the direction of the reference.
Mm-hmm.
We can say this now. Okay. So I don't know when or where this is divulged or hinted at. This might just be a fan theory even. I don't even know. But basically, remember, I don't think it was Tin Tower. The other one that was burnt down?
Yeah, the Burn Tower.
Yes, the Burn Tower. That's where you encountered the legendary beasts, right? That's where you found Suicune, Entei, and Raikou.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Suicune, ice, right?
Yep.
Entei, fire.
Mm-hmm.
Raikou, electricity. Now, the theory here is that these 2 towers were built to represent and honor the 2 legendaries of Gold and Silver, which we haven't encountered yet. But they are basically the protectors of the Johto region, right? They are worshipped in a way.
Yeah.
Now, 1 tower symbolizes each one of them. I'm not going to say which one is which, but the theory goes that in the Burnt Tower, there was originally a standing tower that had a Flareon, Jolteon, and a Vaporeon in it. Something happened, the tower burnt down, and then one of the 2 legendaries saved these 3 evolutions, gave them new life, and they were reborn. Like, they were preserved, and they were allowed to survive the burning of this tower by becoming these new legendary beasts, Entei, Suicune, and Raikou.
Whoa, that's cool, dude.
Yeah. So these guardians that are watching over Suicune right now that are like, hey, if you want to be serious about this, you got to go through us. They have Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon as a way to honor those original 3 that were almost killed by this disaster and saved by the protector of Johto.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So, now that you say that, though, I thought that these beasts, as you call them, some of them, I thought 2 of them were the Gold and Silver legendaries, and 1 of them was the Crystal. So I guess it's not the case.
No, it is weird in that way where there are like sub-legendaries in most generations, like the birds, last generation, right? Suicune being on the cover of Crystal would be like if Articuno was on the 3rd version of Red and Blue, right? So it's not Mew or Mewtwo, but it's the bird, right?
I see. Yeah.
So this is an outlier in that way, where again, in future generations, the Goaty version of the Pokemon game, the 3rd version, usually has a 3rd other legendary. But here it's like Suicune's being elevated beyond the status of just being a sub-legendary, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So
very interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. But yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna say, also the Kimono Girls, I believe, the same town, they had Eevees. You know, there's a big celebration of Eevee in that town, most likely to honor the Eevee that almost died in the tower. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I go to the Pokemon Center before Suicune.
All right.
Because I gotta heal up, of course. Now, we run into some weirdness with Suicune here. I want to capture him, just because. you know? I have no intention of really using him at this point. But, like, of course, if I'm running across a legendary Pokemon, or at least what I think is a legendary Pokemon, I'm going to try and capture it. Now, my strategy here is Sleep Powder with Victory Bell.
Okay.
And I use Vine Whip to get it down to pretty low health. And I have a bunch of Ultra Balls. And I use all the Ultra Balls except for one, and nothing happens. I never catch this thing.
Okay.
And I'll admit, I make a emulation save here to basically just like throw an Ultra Ball, doesn't work, reload, you know, keep trying to do that to catch it, and I still don't catch it. And I only catch it when I use a regular Pokeball. After like multiple times using an Ultra Ball and like variations of like Great Balls and stuff, I'm like, fuck it, I'll just use a regular Pokeball, see what happens. Like first try, I catch it. What's the deal? Why did that happen?
So I think that is just pure luck. But yeah, man, like sometimes that's just how it rolls. Like,
damn,
it's weird. Catch rates are super weird. I don't fully understand them. Obviously the Great Balls have a higher catch rate than the Pokeballs, and the Ultra Balls have a higher catch rate than the Great Balls. But there are plenty of instances where you can catch a Pokemon that has a low catch rate with a Pokeball. Case in point, ever since I got back into Pokemon, I have tried to capture every legendary with a Pokeball, and since then, since the remake of Ruby and Sapphire, I've been catching them all with Pokeballs because it's possible. It's weird. I don't know why, but you can do it.
Man, maybe I'll mess around with that a little bit more because it seemed to work to great effect here.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But
yeah,
I mean,
we got
might as well, right? If that's what you have left, might as well take some shots, right?
Yeah, and it worked out in the end. It was so frustrating. I was like, why won't these Ultra Balls work, you know? I feel like that's what you reserve them for, but
right.
I guess not. So we got Suicune. I get rid of Muscle and I put Suicune in there just because, I guess.
Yeah, because Suicune's like a level 50, right?
I think it's
40.
Yeah, it's 40. So yeah. I'm like, okay, it's good to have like a pretty powerful Pokemon, I suppose, in the party at this point. So that's what I do. Now, Christian, I think this is maybe the final one of this episode. Got another edition of Who's That Pokemon?
Okay.
Send it over to you right now. We'll see what this looks like.
I'm anxiously awaiting, because so far, we're good. Oh, man.
What do we got? This one looks bruised and beaten.
Man, is it a... I don't know.
Okay.
Hold on. Is it... Let me narrow this down. It looks like it's a fish.
I don't know.
It looks... Did you find it in the water?
It was... I actually don't know where. I think I might have found it in the water.
That's not a Delibird, right?
No.
Okay.
It looks like a bird to me. Now that I'm thinking of it.
Oh. It's Natu.
Yeah, it is. Well done.
Okay. A little long. I think Natu's a little more round, but
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, we got there.
Well done. Appreciate that.
Yeah, okay, what do you think of Natu?
It's fine. Just weird looking.
Really? Oh, damn, I think Natu's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed.
I believe it's a psychic flying type, which is a pretty cool combo, I think.
It looks like an angry bird.
Sure. Yeah. Natu is pretty cool because it's a good entry point for psychic, and I think it's probably... I prefer this as a flying type over a Spearow at this point, or a Pidgey or Pidgeotto or whatever. But its evolved form, Xatu, I think is great. And honestly, I might try to get a Xatu on the team when we go into the final week for myself, because
cool.
I don't have a psychic. I wanted to get for Espeon, and man, that friendship stat takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zatu's pretty cool. It's got some like interesting colors. It's got a good design to it, I think. I'm a fan.
Definitely. Yeah, for me personally, it's just like whatever. But it's kind of cute, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I take Route 44 to just progress through the game at this point. Eventually, I come across the ice path, and there's some things in there that need to move. So I get rid of Spearow, pull out Muscle, move some rocks and stuff to progress through. And then I get to Blackthorn City. Oh, I will say I find Icy Wind, I think.
Cool.
Or maybe I had that already. But that will come into some use later. I get to Blackthorn City. This is known as a quiet mountain retreat. That's nice.
Yeah.
The move deleter is here. I don't use it, but it's here. I swap Muscle out for Gyarados because I'm hearing rumblings that the gym leader here uses Dragon types. And Dragon has an advantage against Dragon. So
yeah,
might as well have it in the party in case I need it.
Good decision.
And I get to the Blackthorn City gym leader, who is Claire, the blessed user of Dragon Pokemon. And I give Icy Wind to Suicune and I get rid of Leer, because at this point, dude, I don't really use the status effects unless it's like Sleep Powder.
Yeah, Leer sucks. Like, I think there are in many Pokemon games small occasions where something like a Mud Slap or something, Sand Attack that lowers accuracy could be helpful. Specifically for something like a Miltank, where if it has a very low accuracy and it just tries to spam rollout, that might benefit you. But yeah, you don't need Leer. Leer sucks. Yeah. Scary Face sucks. Growl sucks. Like, you don't need those.
Cool. Yep, so I get rid of that. I put Quagsire. I deposit Quagsire for Muscle, which is kind of sad. Didn't think I'd have to do that, but here we are. And we get to Claire. She throws out a Dragonair. And my Suicune uses Icy Wind and defeats it in 2 hits. So I'm like, okay, this thing's doing work.
Yeah.
And she throws out another Dragonair. Who uses Thunderbolt twice. I use Icy Wind. And then I have to use a Paralyze Heal to use in Thunderbolt again. Then it uses Hyper Potion. No thanks. So, and then I defeat it eventually.
Nice.
Again, I feel like I'm having no real issue with this gym. Another Dragonair. I use Icy Wind. Uses Dragon Breath. I use Icy Wind. I defeat it. And then finally, Kingdra.
Yeah.
Who's, I think, more like water than anything.
It's Water Dragon, but yeah.
Who uses Surf, and I had Victory Bell out at the time. And I fainted, I believe.
Damn. Okay.
Eventually I defeat it.
Right. What do you think of Kingdra?
Yeah, from what I remember, it was a cool design.
Yeah. Kingdra, I like.
Right now.
I've never used one, but similar to how you are with Wooper, I want to say Seadra? No. Hold on. Kingdra? Seadra. Which one is this? Horsey. It's a seahorse, right? That's the name of the thing that looks like that.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool design, and the fact that it can learn dragon stuff and use dragon attacks to burn you, and then also use water attacks, I think is cool.
Yeah. At this point, like, my Victory Bell faints, so I pull out Gyarados to use, and I'm using, like, Dragon Rage, which is pretty good, but then uses another Hyper Potion. Not cool. But I use Thrash, and I think I use Hyper Beam, or they use it against me. Either way, I defeat it. Oh, I use Dragon Rage to defeat this.
Very nice.
Pretty uneventful gym, I will say. Thank you. Thing is, though, so I learned Aurora Beam for Suicune.
Yeah.
And I get rid of Icy Wind. Was that the move?
I mean, Aurora Beam I remember being good.
It's an ice
type. Love the name.
Yeah.
Love the name. And if it's an ice type move, then yeah, can't hurt, just to eventually maybe have some variety in your stable. But yeah, I think that's probably fine.
Okay.
And what badge do you get?
Here's the thing. Didn't get one. Because Claire's a sore loser.
Yeah.
And said, you don't deserve this. You have to go to the Dragon's Den to prove your worth. And I'm like, you want me to go to some water country slide in Portsmouth, New Hampshire? And she's like, no. You need to go to this place north of the map. I'm like, oh, okay. Confused that in my mind. Do you actually know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Cool. Okay. Anyways, we get to Dragon's Den. And I have to I get rid of Gyarados, I pull back Quagsire. And I have to give Quagsire Whirlpool. So I do. To progress through a certain area of this Dragon's Den. And I get to all these like wise gentlemen who are quizzing me. And they ask, what are Pokemon to you? They pose pal, underling, or friend. I choose friend. Then, what helps you win battles? They pose strategy, raising, or cheating. I say strategy. Oh, I guess I should ask, what do you choose? So what are Pokemon to you? Pal, underling, or friend?
Pal.
Okay. What helps you win battles? Strategy, raising, or cheating?
Raising.
Okay. What trainer do you want to battle? Weak, tough, or anybody? I say anybody.
I say anybody, yeah.
Okay. And then this is the last one I write down because I'm like, oh, whatever.
Right.
What is important to raise Pokemon? Love, violence, or knowledge? I say love.
I say love. I was going back and forth between love and knowledge, but I think love.
Yeah, definitely. But then Claire shows up and she's like, oh, how did you make it this far? And the dudes are like, man, this kid's real good. And she's like, no, he's not. I can't believe it. Fine, whatever. Here's the badge. And I'm like, you are the worst. You are literally the worst trainer I've encountered.
Yeah, I think that goes against regulation in a lot of different ways. Like, who was it was like the bug leader that cried and said no, and
Bugsy.
then you had to, yeah. Like, I get it on that level of like, oh, give me a second. Not like, hey, go do this other thing.
I was so pissed because I feel like this was a pretty long play session for me, and I was like, all right, sweet, I'm done. And then she's like, no, go do this fetch quest, or go do this side quest. I'm like, no, dude. I beat you. Don't you understand? I guess she didn't. But she gave me the Rising badge. So I finally got it. Yeah, how many times, dude? How many times?
Very nice.
So that was that. A frustrating battle with Claire. It wasn't even the battle that was frustrating. It was the aftermath.
The attitude.
It was the attitude. That plays a huge part. Dude, if Giovanni, one of the scummiest men I've encountered in Pokemon, can renounce his evil ways, you can give me a gym badge. Like, come on.
Get over yourself.
Yeah, seriously, dude. Have a little introspection after this. You know?
Yeah. Twice now you've been able to make evil people think over their deeds, and then this regulated professional gym leader is like, nah, dude, do this.
Yeah, give me my Boy Scout or Girl Scout badge. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's what these are all for, so
yeah.
Let me wear this on my sash.
Yeah.
We eventually get it. But man, that was something.
Yeah. Well.
So, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Is this the final gym, or do I have another one before the Elite Four?
So this was badge 7, correct?
Yeah.
You have one more.
Okay.
And then the Elite Four.
Should I go to the Whirl Islands?
What's your levels at right now where we leave off?
High 30s.
High 30s? Okay.
And we got a level 40 Suicune.
Yeah, okay. I think Suicune might be what you use to have some footing. If you're worried, I think maybe do the next gym first and then do the Whirl Islands. But if you want to give it a shot, I don't think you'd have a terrible time. Okay. It's a bit of a complex maze of a dungeon. So you might have to put some time into that, depending on how easily you can get through it. And if if the levels give you some issues. I don't know off the top of my head what the level... Okay, I'm scrolling right now on the Bulbapedia page. Looks like we got some range of 10s to 20, mid-20s for levels.
Mm-hmm.
Couple level 40s.
Oh.
With the fishing rod. Yeah, it looks like the highest he gets is 40. But,
is it worth going to this?
Yes.
Okay.
At some point. I don't think you have to rush, but at some point, I think it's worth going there.
Does this operate like the... What was the place in Gen 1 I didn't go? The factory?
Seafoam Islands?
No, not Seafoam
Oh, you did
Islands.
Seafoam. You did Seafoam.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the power plant. Yeah.
Kind of. Do you just want me to tell you what the goal is there?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay. Because it's not really key to the story based on memory in Crystal, but one of the two main legendaries of the game can be found there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember someone in Cyanwood was talking about a Pokemon being there, so.
Yeah, so that is where you want to go for one of them. The other one, you don't have access to the area yet. But yeah, out of the two, this one is available to you if you can make it through there and if you have the strength to catch it, because it is a high level.
Yikes.
So maybe it's a post-Gemate thing, but you could probably find some footing there right now, honestly.
Okay. Definitely before the Elite Four, I'll do that.
Yeah, or you could do it after, right? You did the Cerulean Cave after. That's where Mewtwo was, right?
Yeah, that's true. But I didn't really do much after that. I essentially just caught Mewtwo. So.
So.
Yeah. But that'll do it for this episode. Christian, where can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Chris and Buckley, as well as here, youtube.com/joyclicks, where this show posts every Monday. Do a live premiere every week. Jack and I are in the chat for a little bit, talking to people while the show's going on. Got a bunch of other shows. Jack and I also co-host a Marvel's Avengers podcast. The #1 Marvel's Avengers podcast in the world goes up every weekend. And yeah, any other stuff, Nintendo, PlayStation, anything going on, group streams, youtube.com/joyclicks.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at FascinatedJack. Look out for the next group stream where Christian and I will be writing our Crash Bandicoot fanfiction and reading it on air.
Yeah, by the time this episode's out, Tuesday night, be there.
It will be something.
Yeah.
You got a little tease for what you're cooking on that thing?
Intimate.
Okay.
That's all you get.
For me, Logan.
You won, dude. You won.
We'll see what that looks like. But until then, we'll catch you later.